Yes, I got into it was actually a near fatal automobile accident. I was hospitalized for 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, until they kicked me out of the hospital, literally.
I'm sorry, what?
Well, in America, the healthcare system is private.
Yes.
So because my insurance company at the time said, that she has exceeded, her limit, we're no longer going to continue to pay for her treatment.
So they kicked you out?
Yes.
Even though you weren't done with your treatment, you weren't fully well at the time.
In fact, I couldn't even walk at the time.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Hello, this is the Motherland series, and on this show we profile our clients, mostly guests that we are personally associated with as a brand, people that have patronized our services. We like to get up close and personal with their lives and also listen to the amazing experiences that they are having right here in the motherland, Ghana. Today I have a beautiful woman with me. You see, we've tried to change the setting because her aura is just amazing, and I'm so excited to touch base with her. Ladies and gentlemen, just like we always do, let's put our hands together for Niara. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great, but can we rewind that introduction because I feel so fabulous.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. I picked it from you because your energy is amazing, and I just can't wait to hear everything that you have to share with us today. So we like to start the conversation by deep diving into the lives of our guests. So please tell me about you, your upbringing, some of the places you lived at, the experiences. You've already told me that you were born and raised in Texas.
That's correct.
Yes. So how was life in Texas, being at the the countryside and everything?
So if I'm being honest, I hated living in Texas.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I wasn't a fan of living in the United States at all.
Okay.
So I'm very happy to have transitioned to Ghana, living on the continent of Africa.
Right.
As you stated, I was born in Texas. We say born and bred.
Right.
I spent the first part of my life there.
Mm-hmm.
I was there until I graduated from college. So I'm originally from Dallas.
Okay.
I was there until I graduated from high school, and then I moved on to Houston, Texas, which is where I studied journalism, broadcast journalism.
Right.
Upon graduating, I moved to Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for a short time for Fox News.
Oh, really?
It wasn't a pleasant experience. I've always been very outspoken. Because I've always been very outspoken.
Oh, okay.
So, journalism, especially in the television industry, is extremely competitive in the United States. So it wasn't a good experience for me. I was very green at the time and naive. And I just thought that my talent, should speak for itself.
Right.
And so it didn't quite work out that way.
I understand perfectly.
But, I don't lament my experience because everything, is a learning experience for me. So after I moved on from Atlanta, I had the opportunity. I secured a job in Chicago, Illinois. But on the way, I made it all the way to Indiana.
Indiana?
Yeah, and I was driving. I got into an automobile accident.
At what age was this?
I was in my 20s at the time. I want to say I think I was like 23.
Right.
I want to say. So long ago. So I got into it was actually a near fatal automobile accident. I was hospitalized for 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, until they kicked me out of the hospital, literally.
I'm sorry, what?
Well, in America, the healthcare system is private.
Yes.
So because my insurance company at the time said, that she has exceeded, her limit, we're no longer going to continue to pay for her treatment.
So they kicked you out?
Yes.
Even though you weren't done with your treatment, you weren't fully well at the time.
In fact, I couldn't even walk at the time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
I hear a lot of stories about some of these things, that like healthcare out there is not the best thing. I mean, I had a client that came in that I had a conversation with, and they told me their experience that they were outside. They went to the dentist. They told them that they had like all of these complications, and then they came to Ghana, and then a dentist down here just took an X-ray and then told him that it's a minor issue.
Right.
But then they were just sucking the money out of him out there.
Because everything is based on profit, so.
Wow.
So it took about 3 months for me to recover.
Right.
And after that, I got married and I became pregnant with my first son.
Wonderful.
And then when I conceived my second son, we decided as a family to relocate to Israel.
Okay.
My husband had an opportunity to teach there.
Okay.
And so we were there for 19 years.
Mm.
I worked for a scientific research institute in the office of the spokesperson.
Right.
So I did public relations.
Mm.
I really enjoyed my job there. It was a wonderful experience.
That's lovely.
Yeah. It was
What's a core memory from that experience in Israel?
I would say for me, the core memory is that Israel, for all of its flaws, and it has many, is a very family-oriented country.
Okay.
It's a country, I think, that centers children, so that's very important. I think that it plays a huge role in developing the mentality of their youth there.
Right.
I think that Israeli youth, they develop this type of this mentality that they can conquer the world.
Right.
And it's very much seen in how they conduct themselves. They're very fearless people.
I see.
This concept of boundaries doesn't really exist with them.
Yeah.
They have no fear of going and living wherever on the globe. And so that is something that I see that was embedded in my children as a result of growing up there. And so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
As I said, it's a very family-oriented country, and so I really enjoy that. So times when I needed to bring my children to work, that was not an issue. Because, we were isolated there as a family. We didn't have any family members there.
It was just you?
Yeah, it was just my husband and my children. So, there were a lot of challenges, as you can imagine, rearing a family in an isolated situation like that. But again, when you grow up in an environment or in a country where that's a part of the social fabric of the country, where they center children, they center family, it made it easier. And so I would say that is the most memorable experience in terms of on the positive side that I've had.
I see. That's great. And as somebody that, per what you just shared with us, it seems like you've traveled a little bit. You've moved from place to place. You've had different experiences with each place that you've traveled to. What is one thing you would say that you've picked up from all of these journeys that has shaped you as a person?
To be adaptable.
Okay. That's a good word. Yeah.
When oftentimes I hear from people difficulties and challenges they're having in terms of acclimating to a country, particularly like here in Ghana.
Yeah.
The first thing I think about is, that lack of adaptability. It's very important because I feel like when you are adaptable, that allows you to be able to experience the best parts of a country. And it's an expression that we have. As I say, you drink the juice and you do away with the pulp. Yeah. So you take on and you focus on like the positives, and that's what you put your energy towards. Yeah. Put your focus on, and so that's what we as a family have done here in Ghana. Yeah. And for the most part, many of the negatives that people often experience, I can say that we have not experienced it.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that for you.
Yeah, especially like with the land issue. I'm sure you already know.
Yes.
I'm supposed to say that. I mean, there's a lot of complications, right? And so we did not experience that at all. Yeah. And we looked around, at several different places, but it really didn't take us a long time before we came to Arcade. We didn't have these negative experiences, with being swindled out of thousands of dollars or anything like that. Our process with buying our land was very smooth. Yeah, it was straightforward, very smooth, no problems, no hiccups or anything like that. So.
But before you go on, I'm curious, was Ghana always on the top of the list for you? Like when you were
what? Honestly, it was not. And that's because we had already been here in 1999.
Oh.
And so for me, I wanted to I love to, I'm a nomad.
Right.
So I wanted to choose someplace differently. So we actually, for a long time, we had settled on Belize.
Okay.
And we knew someone who lived there. So for years, my children had started practicing Spanish. We were like, we're going to live in Belize. And then we changed our attention to Kenya.
Okay. How did Kenya come about? What was the switch?
We know someone actually that was in Kenya, and he was like, oh, Kenya is great. It's a metropolitan city. You'll love it. Nairobi, you'll love it. You'll fit right in. They're English speakers, so you don't have to worry about your children learning the language. And so we looked at Kenya. Yeah. Then we turned our attention to Tanzania. Yeah, again, we had a really close friend that lives there.
So it was just people around you that were like, okay, come here. Oh no, come here.
Yes, exactly. So my husband and our second son went there for a little while, and they stayed with our friend that was living there. But he was like, I don't think Tanzania is for us. And so someone that we knew at the time that was living in Israel, she was like, why don't you guys go to Ghana? Ghana would be great. Yeah. It'd be very easy for your children to acclimate into Ghanaian society. It's modern there. And so at first I was like, no, we've already been to Ghana. I want to go someplace new. But my husband, he was pushing for Ghana. Okay. And so he came here, and when he returned back to Israel, he was like, yeah, it's going to be Ghana. It is, yeah. So I was like, okay, that's fine. But then something spiritually just started happening inside of me, saying that that's where we needed to be. Ghana was where we needed to be. And then the year of return happened. Okay. And so for me, it was kind of like a confirmation, that this is where we're supposed to go. And I've always said, and it's true, right? It's a popular expression in the States, is that, particularly in the Pan-African community, is that Ghana is the gateway to Africa. Yes. And so I was like, okay, this is where we're supposed to be. The transitional process was very easy, shipping our things here. Everything just went, it wasn't difficult. And so for me as a person, I feel like the universe will guide you where you're supposed to be if you're open. And so I remained that way. I stayed open, and so I just allowed the universe to guide me.
Just guided your path.
Exactly. And so there wasn't any resistance. And so for me, again, it was like confirmation. Okay, this is where we're supposed to be. Yeah. And so when we got here, met people that assisted us where we needed help. It went smoothly. Yeah. We didn't have the horror stories that so many people have. Even like with renting a house, the houses that we stayed in, we didn't have, difficult situations. I've heard some like really horrible stories. Yeah. People who had to return back to Western countries, because they've lost all their money and had very difficult experiences. And we didn't, experience any of those things. Yeah. So for me, it was just confirmation that we're on the right path.
And I love that so much. There's a reason why your story is very, very important, because people do not believe that there are others that have come here and they didn't have to, struggle as much as they make it out to be. Like, they're just like you've been able to transition here so easily, so smoothly, and others can have the same thing. It doesn't always have to be a horrible story or having to go through so much struggle, It can be this easy, and you're proof of that. So I'm just so in awe of your story. Like I love it all. And even though you haven't had any struggles or any challenges, what is certain things or one thing about the motherland that you wish was different or you think can be better?
So one of the things that I think that is really important, and I wish that there was, in Israel, it's called Aliyah, right? Okay. So Jewish people from the diaspora, they can migrate to Israel without any difficulties, without any problems. They receive their Israeli citizenship. That is one thing that I do wish were different. That is, I would say, is the most challenging thing for those of us from the diaspora community, is that aspect of moving back to Ghana. The other thing Mr. Mahatma, can we fix the road, please? Me pacho, I beg.
Listen to her, please. The roads, right?
Yes, the roads. You know, it takes so much longer to get where we need to go.
That's a good one, honestly. If the road system was better, I mean, I do a lot of property tours. I shoot a lot of properties, and every time you put a video out there, people are just saying, "Oh,
what about the roads?"
Right? It's a stunning property, but how do you get there? You're trying to show a client, like, give them directions on the phone to get to a property, and they're like, I'm lost. Oh, the road is bad, you know? Just the little things that if we work on would put Ghana so much higher.
It would propel us into a whole other dimension. It really would.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I was visiting my mom last summer in Texas, and we were driving down a road, and she was like, I hate coming down this road because it's so bad. And I was like, this, it's so funny because I've been in Ghana for so long now. For me, it's been so long. I'm like, you know, I'm mea Ghana, so I don't.
Wait, what?
So I don't, you know, like certain things I've become so acclimated to. So when we were there and she said this road is so bad, I hate driving down this road, I was like, this is a good road.
You're used to it.
Right? I was like, we would love to have this road like this. This is a wonderful road.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Well, honestly, it will get better. I believe that it will.
I'm confident. I'm confident.
Exactly. And if it does, we can all collectively live here in so much peace and harmony and be able to move about with so much ease. Okay, so you've already said that you came into contact with us, but I want to find out, how did you find us?
So it was actually another diasporan that I know. Yeah, she just reached out to me and she was like, hey, are you guys interested in buying land? Like, what are your plans here in Ghana? Are you here temporarily? Are you here long term?
Was it a friend, somebody that you know? Okay.
And so I said, well, more so an acquaintance. I said, yes, of course. We actually just went and looked at some land in Abri. But the price, I said, you know, was a bit, you know, astronomical.
Right.
Actually, a close friend of mine. She's actually Ghanaian. She's half Ghanaian, half Liberian.
Right.
But she lives in the UK, and so it's where she had bought her land like a couple of years ago. And so she was like, you know, Niara, why don't you guys go, you know, check that out? So we went to check it out, and so it was in the bush, right? Completely undeveloped.
Do you mind sharing the price point that they gave to you for that land?
Yeah, so it was, I want to say $15,000 US. Wow. Yeah. And so I was like,
and it was in a bush.
Yeah, that's no road.
Do you fly there?
Right, a helicopter.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I and then the thing about it is that was also considerably more than what my girlfriend had paid for her land. And so that's what I told him. I said, well, you know, this is like considerably more than what my friend says she paid for hers. And so, but he was unwavering. So I was like, you know what? Okay, so that's not for us. I was so disappointed because I wanted to be in a breed. Yeah. And so I was disappointed, but I said, you know what is meant for me will be. And then just like I said, out of the blue, this acquaintance of mine called and she was like, you know, are you guys, you know, interested in buying land? Yeah. What are your plans, yada, yada. And so she told me about RKE and she's like, you know, it's going to be a gated community. So when she said gated community, of course, I was like, oh, like for me, that was the seller's one. Yeah, it was a plus for you. So we traveled, I think it was like that, I don't know if it was that week or the following week, we traveled to the site and my husband was in love with it. Like, we didn't even have to discuss it. We drove from the site to the office and straight from there. And I was like, I was looking a hot mess at the time, right? And so I was like, I don't want to go, like, but my husband was like, you know, let's go. Okay, no, it's fine. No, we have to jump on this right now. You had that energy. Yeah. It was like one of those mornings where I still like had on my exercise clothes. Right. Yeah, so hair was looking a mess, all of that. So but he was like insistent. So we drove right there to the office. That was when we were at Cantonment, I presume. Yes, right, exactly. Right across from that school. Soul Clinic, yeah. And so we went straight there and we met the CEO, Danny. And had a meeting with him. It went very, very well. Right. And yeah, the rest is history. It was just quick, like yeah. Boom, boom, boom.
That is great, really.
It didn't take long for us, like after we, paid the money.
Yeah.
It didn't take long for us to get our indenture. The process, it went very smoothly.
Easy.
Yeah.
This is what we try to tell people all the time, but unless you experience it, it will be hard for you to believe because, again, people have had such opposite experiences. So it's kind of a bit glitchy when you're like, okay, do I trust? Do I not trust?
Mm-hmm.
But the way it happened for you, I wish it would happen for everybody else because that's just like...
I mean, and it can. It can.
Yeah.
As I said, our process was very smooth.
Yeah.
It did not take long at all for us to receive our paperwork. We didn't have any problems.
Yeah. The overall service, it was great for you.
Oh, yeah. The service was stellar. Gertrude was perfect.
Yeah.
She was amazing. So yeah, we didn't have any problems. For me, I've always been able to reach the CEO of the company. Whether I'm calling him or just shooting him a text, he's always been very responsive to me. So that's a positive. Adhere to my concerns that I have. So yeah, I don't have these horror stories that other people have.
You got at Bay City Phase 3? Is that where you are?
No, I'm in Phase 2.
You're in Phase 2?
Yeah.
Oh, what about Phase 2 attracts you the most? Is it the greenery? Is it the views? Is it the weather?
The elevated level of the...
You like the topography.
Yeah. It's very... I cannot wait till we finish building. I tell everybody all the time I'm going to sit on my rooftop and sip palm wine.
Okay. And that's great too because Ivory is known for that amazing palm wine. If you're driving, up the hills, you see them on the roadside. You get the best one.
I just bought some the other day. I've never drank prior to moving to Ghana. And just the other day, somebody told me about palm wine. So I went because I always go to Ivory to get my fruits. Yeah. Because that's what they have the best fruits up there. And at the best prices. So I go up there and get my pineapple, my mango. And then on the way back, I got some palm wine because somebody had told me about the palm wine and I tasted it and it was absolutely amazing. Yes.
I'm kicking my feet like a little kid.
Yeah. So that will be Madam Niara sitting on her rooftop, sipping on her palm wine, eating pineapple and fresh mango. No worries, no stress.
None of that. Oh,
none at all.
I love it so much. Finally, before we run off here, as somebody that has the experiences that you have, oftentimes we have people that are not necessarily looking to relocate, but they just want to put their money somewhere. So you've been here a while, you've experienced Ghana's economy for everything that it has to offer. If somebody wants to, put their resources in Ghana, would you advise them to do so? Do you think that we have a strong economy enough to, to provide returns for investors and all of that?
I definitely would. I feel with the huge influx of people from the diaspora coming, I feel like, first of all, Africa is the future. We have a young population here. We have a continent that is rich in resources. The youth here, they're hungry and ready to work. The people here are brilliant.
Right.
There's another level of, tenacity and so absolutely, you will receive a return on your investment here.
Yeah.
I think that it's a win-win situation. I know several people who they're not ready to move, but they are interested in investing and that's what they're doing. And I feel like the sky is the limit.
Yes.
So I am advising people that I know, friends and family members, right, who are interested in putting their money someplace safe, where they know that they can get a good return on their investment, and they don't have to worry about it. To invest in Ghana. Again, it's the future. Yeah,
perfectly said. And just like you said, the future. And on the note of investment, we have our stellar project, the future, happening right here at East Airport, a 10-story mixed-use facility. You can come in. We're giving out investment options off plan, so you can come put your money in it. We promise that the return on investment will be amazing. So it's just a matter of conversation. Just contact us on all of our contact channels, and we will give you all the necessary information that you need to make sure that your investments, opportunities and processes go way, way, way smoothly. So, Niara, thank you so much for speaking with us. Your story is one of a kind, and I am sure that our audience have loved it so much, and I have too. I've learned so much from you today, so thank you for coming in. Oh, you're so, yes, that's something that I have to commend you on. The fact that you're taking the time to learn the language is
it's so important.
good.
It's so important to me.
And you speak so well too.
Oh, thank you.
Why I dear Pa? Guys, yes, you can now join Niara at phase 2 because we opened up some plots in there, and phase 1 as well. Current price points of 130,000. If you want to be at phase 4, we're currently selling actively there at 100,000 Ghana cedis per plot. You can either go to The View or Blackstar Village. The View, we now have phase 1 and 2, 200 and 220,000, or you can go to Blackstar Village, 160,000. We have a wide market, products for everybody. So come in, let's provide you the services so that you can also have a good testimony like Niara right here.
I wanted to add something as well.
Yes.
I think that, and I commend you guys, one of the things I love is that you guys price all of your properties in the local currency. Yes. Because that's such a turnoff for me and so many other people. They're like, why are people pricing things in US dollars?
Yes.
So I commend you guys for that.
Thank you so much. And
that was also a selling point for us as well.
Yeah. Oh, that was it for you? It worked for you?
Yeah, the fact that the price was in CDs.
Yes.
And I told my husband, I said, this is different from the place. When I said 15,000, that price was in US dollars.
In dollars.
Right, it wasn't in CDs.
Wow. So when you came and you had that, we have the local spirit, everything, like we're trying to put back in Ghana, so there's no need to price in another currency.
Right. Right,
So,
because in Israel, things were in shekels. That's their local currency.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
the same.
We're trying to be that change. So
be the change.
I'm happy that you noticed it and it was a selling point for you, and I hope that it will be a selling point for everybody else too. So thank you so much.